What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to another weekly episode of Fantasy Bench Warmers. And as always, with our weekly episode, may special guest tayo tonight. And Kumish, how are you?
I'm fine. Good evening to all our listeners tonight.
Yan. So, of course, hopefully, hindi pa kayo nagsasawa sa amin kasi daily nyo na kami nakikita. But today, may special guest tayo para naman di kayo maumay sa mga pagmumuha namin. May iba tayong kasama, di ba? Na mas gwapo kaysa sa amin.
Mas matangkad, definitely.
Tall and handsome. Yung dark part siguro parang based sa video, parang medyo wala pa. Pero okay na rin, no? Chinito like us, di ba? So, please welcome our guest, first former Ateneo Blue Eagle, currently part of the Gilas pool. Please welcome Mr. Isaac Go. Sir, good evening.
Good evening.
And thank you for like I said off the air, thank you for indulging us with your time. How are you, sir? Kamusta ang
Okay naman. So technically work from home din ako. So puro workout lang sa bahay.
Yeah.
Then I'm still taking my masters. So you may pasok pa rin. We have school.
Sa Ateneo?
Okay.
In Ateneo.
So you're still doing masters?
Yes.
Okay. Pero yung work mo as in full about the basketball stuff na.
Yes. So workout from home. So technically
workout from home na ngayon eh. Wala pang plans to go pero before this you were di ba in the bubble, di ba?
But I think ECQ, so pinauwi mo na kami.
Yeah.
And then wait and see approach.
Yeah. Okay. So yun, Isaac's here with us kasi he also plays fantasy. Although sabi nga niya medyo minalas na this year. Later on we'll get to know more about the team and what happened, no? But let's talk a little bit about basketball first. So Isaac, when did you start playing basketball? You were young but talaga you were exposed to basketball already?
Siguro when I was young, my brother was the one really who exposed me to basketball. He's the one talaga may hilig ever since. Because he's the eldest, the second ako. By automatic, hatak na ako. If he wanted to play, ako na yung kalaro niya.
Okay.
And then, when he decided to try out, sabi na, siguro, try na rin. Exercise. It should be good for you. So, that's where I was first exposed to basketball.
Anong grade level to? Grade school?
Grade school pa, sir. Grade 1. Grade 2, grade 2 ako nag-try out when he was grade 3. My brother was grade 3.
So, you made the team ba? Or...
No.
But your brother made the team?
No, rin. Bata pa. We were still young eh. So, we didn't make the team till grade... No na siya. Grade 5, I think, he was supposed to make the team. But then, SBP back then had the height limit.
Okay.
Di siya pasok sa height limit. Masyado siya matangkad. So,
okay.
that's why he didn't make the team.
So, he was too tall.
Okay. Ikaw, you didn't make it then?
Di na rin talaga. This parang the height limit rule is for your first year. So if you, let's say, bigla kang tumangkad, pasok ka pa rin. You're not considered in the height limit anymore. But then, I didn't make the team na. Grade 4 pa lang, wala na. Grade 5, wala na. Besides, grade 4 was the last year pasok ako sa height limit. And di na pasok. So,
hindi na eligible.
Hindi na eligible.
So wait. Yeah, sige, go.
You were very tall ever since talaga.
Di naman very tall, but I think I was generally taller than everybody else na. But I wasn't like, bigla, ang tangkad mo. Parang generally just a little bit taller than everybody.
Okay. Who were, when you were growing up, were you watching basketball? Anong year ba to? Kasi baka malayo ng age gap natin eh. Kasi...
siguro early 2000s, my brother was the one watching and I didn't want to watch. So naabot ko pa when Solar Sports pa ata, when they would show NBA on Solar Sports. That's when roughly my first memory of watching basketball.
Local, were you also watching local?
I did start watching local till college na ata. High school or college. Wala talaga akong hilig dati eh. So, di talaga kahit PBA, I wasn't watching PBA.
Oo.
So, Isaac, parang late bloomer ang dating. Yung passion to basketball,
Yeah.
was it
You
there?
was it there too?
Oo. Yun nga sabi ko, Jeremy, solar sports na nabutan ni Isaac. Ikaw, GMA ka pa ata. NBA on GMA ka pa eh.
Wala pa nga bihira pa nga dito NBA dati nun dito eh.
Oo.
'Di ba? Yung
Okay,
mga Magic Johnson naabutan namin yung mapaghalataan tayo sa age ni Isaac. Hindi pa pinapanganak si Isaac nun eh.
No, I think I started watching mga 02. That was the Shaq era.
Oh.
Then you remember memory ko talaga. I remember I watched The Malice in the Palace. Naabot ko yan.
Ayun, Detroit and Indiana.
And the Detroit Indiana series the year prior. So that's what I remember. That's siguro if you ask me specifically, that's the first talaga maalala ko. But before that, siguro I'd watch one game here or there, but the nerve doesn't stick talaga.
Were you rooting for any team? Wala rin. We just watch the game, ganyan.
Watch the game lang before, but late siguro once I started learning about the sport talaga, once nahilig ko talaga, I was rooting for the Spurs.
Spurs ka rin. I'm surprised Ang dami namin na gi-guess dito. Spurs fan talaga. So, medyo nagulat ako More than either Spurs fan or Lakers fan.
Lakers usually kasi yan yung diehard talaga. Kobe, Shaq. A lot of these kids grew up with that na Kobe, Shaq eh.
Pero madami ring because you were a Spurs fan because of Duncan.
Duncan.
Okay, so si Tim Duncan din. At what age to? Sabi mo you were into it na at what high school na?
So,
were you varsity nung high school?
Yeah, I was varsity nung high school na. Siguro
From first year
Yeah, for first year na. That's when I parang grade 6 when I started lineup, pair bangko, grade 7, ginagamit ng konti. And then high school's when really nung babad talaga ako.
So at that time, doon ka na medyo nahilig talaga into the sport?
I think it just grew over time.
While playing it, ganyan.
While playing it eventually, and eventually I made the youth pro, the Energen under 13, under 18, under 16 and under 18 program. So doon talaga, that's when I said na, wow, okay, I think basketball's for me.
So you made the youth team then, the RPU. Parang
Okay. At
sino yung mga kabatch mo din time? Was it?
It's Arvin Tolentino.
Okay.
Yung mga nasa PBA na, sina Hubert Cani, Kyle Slau.
Okay. Jeron, batch mo ba?
Jeron was older than me. Si Jeron, General Nokia pa ata, Nokia. So kasama na Kiefer. So di kami nag-abot ni Jeron. Nag-abot kami ni Jeron sa college, sa high school, pero we didn't reach each other during the youth program.
Okay. Pero sa Xavier, he was one of your teammates, but you were the younger. Okay.
When you were playing, did you pattern your game to Team Duncan, mga ganyan ba? Or hindi masyado? Kasi medyo ka na eh. When you were in college na, medyo you adapted to the modern game, yung big man with the outside shot. Pero I would think nung high school ka, you were a center.
Siguro in high school, I was shooting a lot of mid-range jumpers. So remember when you would remember yung parang dunker spot sa baseline, yung short J, parang the one Udonis Haslem made famous ata during the first 2 years ng LeBron run.
Yeah.
That was the shot I was shooting the most. So more mid-range, ever since more mid-range na to begin with. So I think that's why it was easier to translate to the 3.
Okay. So yung threes were just developed over time na lang. Habang you extended the range na lang, habang tumatagal, practice.
Because when Coach Tab came in, he was like, if you're gonna shoot 18 feet jumpers, might as well shoot threes. Especially if you're not taking a lot of shots now. Or if you're not gonna take a lot of shots, might as well make it threes. So it's beneficial for the team.
So when you were in high school, you played varsity for 4 years, tama no? And then after that, you were recruited by Ateneo.
Yes.
So with Ateneo lang ba recruited you, or were there other schools then were trying?
There were other schools naman.
Pero what made you decide na Ateneo na lang?
I think first, education. My parents from a very young age emphasized the importance of getting education. Na even though may basketball ka, you have to still get a degree, you still have to go to college and study. And they
Anong course mo?
Management of Applied Chemistry.
Mahirap ba yun, Eric?
Oo, mahirap yun.
Hindi ko alam, hindi ako taga-Ateneo.
Ako, management lang eh.
And then, I think second was that you saw the tradition of Ateneo bigs going out of college. Greg, Raba, Noy, Justin. Ateneo constantly
had bigs successful in pros.
So, okay, the transition is okay. And Greg was gone at that time. So, parang sabi ko, in terms of opportunity, this might be a better place for me to get a chance to play and develop my skills, both.
So when you came in, yun yung time na nag-graduate si Greg. Parang gano'n. Tama?
When I came in, like 1 year na sina Coach Bo, I think that was the year after Greg. So that was Frank.
Okay.
The year of Sina Frank. That was the year before I came in. Then 2014 when I came in, that was the first year ba? I think first year na Ateneo got a foreign student athlete in Ike. First year ko.
Yeah. So kay Coach Tab na yun or it's still
Coach? I had 2 years under Coach Bo, but my first year I had shoulder surgery.
Okay.
So I didn't play. And then my second year was last year ni Coach Bo, last year ni Keith.
Yeah. Tapos after yung Tab na, Coach Tab.
Yeah.
But you were Team A since start of or you stayed with Team B nung injured ka and then Team A ka na nung second year mo?
So technically, Team A muna ako. Then when I got injured, no playing. Tapos binaba muna ako sa B. So I would get minutes, a little bit of run. So I would practice both with the B and the A team.
So and then that's when
tuloy-tuloy na.
Pero nung high school, Isaac, parang Tionglian lang ba yung biggest tournament nun?
Chonglian, and then I think nung na-disband yung Chonglian, I played yung palarong pambansa ata 1 year. Nakapagpalaro pa ako. Pero talo kami nun eh. Talo kami sa NCRs.
Hindi ka ba NCR?
San Juan. No, regional muna. So San Juan kami.
Okay.
Sorry. So San Juan, and then talo kami sa Manila. Manila had NU. Then nag-recruit pa sila ng ibang schools.
Who were your teammates sa San Juan?
Xavier lang. Xavier lang kami.
Okay. Pero at that time, wala nang Tionglian noong time na yun.
Wala na. Parang 2 years removed na kami from Chonglian.
Wala na bang Chonglian?
Wala na
pala. Tagal ko na
hindi nakalaban yung pag kinalaban niya yung team natin, yung Sinchud, kinatambakan lang nila.
Lakas pa yun say, dude, Coach Goldwyn you were strong with Coach Goldwyn.
Pero noong time mo ba is Coach Goldwyn? Yung time mo?
Nabal ko pa si Coach Goldwyn sa St. Jude.
Yung malakas nga yung team.
Sina Kimlo, Jace Ligad.
Yeah. Yun yung malakas na time.
Pero talo pa rin tayo, di ba?
Oo, talo.
Sino tama na? Xavier, ibang level eh.
Hindi, mas matalino naman taga St. Jude.
Hindi, kaya lang nila yan. Tino mo nga kami, ganito. Pag ganito lang kami, pa-podcast. Hindi namin nagamit mga pinag-aralan namin eh. So yung high school days mo, was it difficult to transition to the college or hindi ka naman nahirapan?
I think first mahirap sa transition was that in high school you're not by height malaki, you're tall.
Yeah.
But then when you go to college, you're not so tall anymore. And
so,
then syempre,
nung high school just to make it clear, center talaga laro mo. Even though you're shooting mid-range, you're center. Or parang power forward ka. And
center. More of center
talaga, okay.
Bis style namin high school, pressing. So, pati nasa baba na ako, rim protector na walang shot blocking.
Pero naman.
And then, when you go to college, I think the transition is always harder for big men jumping from high school to college is because physicality-wise, now you're going up against rookie year. So I had EK in practice.
Laki na kaagad eh.
di ko na naabot si Charles, but imagine Charles Mami, Kareem Abdul, Alfred Aroga,
mga foreign athletes.
Papi Sar. So these guys are, their bodies were grown men na sila, grown men.
Oo.
So syempre for bigs, mas mahirap yung transition. This high school, yung weights program namin dati, pwede na, but I mean, not to where when you go to college, you're like, damn, I need to lift weights.
Oh.
So did you lift weights dahil doon?
I did na. So in high school, nag-prepare na ako, but the gap, laki ng gap laki ng gap talaga. I was like, damn.
Hindi, Ike pa lang di ba? Parang, well, sa TV I don't see them in person, pero sa TV makikita mo na yung laking
si Embala. Di ba si Embala yung
nakalaban mo ba Embala?
Nakalaban ko si Embala eventually. But then rookie year ko, that was the imports. Aroga, Abdul.
Aroga,
Si Sar, I think, that was Papi Sar.
Si Mami. Charles Mami.
Di ko na ata abot si Mami. Di ko na abot. That was my injured year ata last year niya.
Pero yung brother mo, I think, is also part of Ateneo, di ba? Like,
Team B siya. Captain siya. He was the captain of Team B in his last 2 years. And then, he was a part of Coach Tab's coaching staff during his first year. First year ni Coach Tab. He was part of the coaching
so varsity din yung brother mo sa college.
Mm.
But he wasn't able to play sa UAAP.
Hindi na. But naging coach, so he's still technically made.
Yeah, he's still there. Pero yung playing years talaga, he was part of Team B lang. Team B.
Pero mas magaling ba siya sa'yo? I think the only niya is mas maliit lang ata siya di ba? Or yung game niyo ba is similar?
Hindi, sige, sabihin mo na, sinong mas magaling?
Mas guard forward siya
Okay. Mag-iba yung iba yung game niya. And usually guard forward, maraming kalaban rin talaga dyan. Kasi madaming guard forward. Ang big man, medyo rare kasi, di ba? Parang, minsan pag malaki ka, sige, gawin mo na. Turuan ka konting rebounding.
Mas pagtsatsagaan yung malaki. Mas
mabilis kasi may height advantage ka na ng konti, di ba?
Hindi konti. Malaki.
Hindi, pagdating mo naman college, sabagay, versus the other, pero yun nga. So when you were in college, yun lang, yung physicality was the hardest transition.
I think also skill level. Everybody's better. You can't hide anybody. You can't hide anymore. If you're not ready, they're gonna expose you. And the talent on every year, the talent just keeps improving. These schools are looking for the best of the best to be competitive. So every year, yung level of competition tumataas.
Yeah.
Parang they're gonna find people from the province, from abroad, and they're getting really probably the best of the best. So every year, talaga, you're gonna have to be pushed to get better, find an edge, or else iiwanan ka ng ibang teams.
So nung first 2 years was Bo, di ba?
First 2 years.
Tapos nung nalaman yung it's gonna be Coach Tab, syempre, may reputation si Coach Tab, national team coach and international, medyo kinabahan ba kayo or anong reaction?
I think both. We were both nervous and excited. Bis kinakabahan kami because syempre, new coach. Of course, the difference was we're not his recruits. Iba pa rin pag recruit mo yung player. He's your recruit.
That's true.
And then compared to, here's the team, here are the players. Parang there's still a different disconnect.
Yeah.
In terms
parang
of that.
merong hindi naman parang yung sa NBA, di ba? Parang these are your guys. These are not my guys. So I have to get familiar and
it's
win
weird
over.
Kasi, bis parang Coach Tab handled pros, so but parang he's always handled pros for the longest time. So balik siya college, parang he had new environment, new challenges. And at the same time, we were excited because when will you ever have a level of a coach that made fourth place in the World Cup for a team that's not that's not a basketball country. Yeah. So we knew that he had so much experience, so much things to learn. But yes, nervous because we didn't know how he was. Wala kaming feedback. Parang mystery. The mystery was what made us worried.
Pero was he extra hard on you? Kasi parang I read na parang he was looking for big men nga. Tapos ikaw yung tuturo nila na ito yung big man.
I don't think he was hard. He's hard on everybody.
Equally hard
on everybody. Whether you're the starting five or Bangko, he's equally hard on all of you guys. So all of us. So I wouldn't say he was nitpicking, but
pero favorite ka niya.
Hindi. Sakto lang.
Kasi
Sakto.
yun ang rumor sa mga Ateneo, di ba? Parang, he likes your game. He likes yung parang yung high IQ players, di ba? And he has always described you as a high IQ player. So parang gustong-gusto niya laro mo.
I think what I can say is, of course, Coach Tab would always want the perfect player. Athletic, skillful, matalino. He'll always want that. So what syempre, he can't have that. No one, parang there's always something lacking. So what he does is he just gets the best from everybody and fits it into the system and puts us in a position to succeed.
Mm. And when you were in Ateneo, I'll be honest kasi nung nag-usap kami ni Eric before, I mean a few days before, parang tinatanong ko, di ba si Isaac yung maraming clutch baskets when he was in Ateneo?
Si Jeremy kasi Lasal.
Lasal kasi ako. So I don't really watch Ateneo games, ganyan. Kaya nung time nyo...
May isa doon sa Lasal
Ha?
May isa doon sa Lasal.
Na ano?
Na clutch.
Hindi, pero I was, parang, when yung time nyo kasi, hindi na ako nanonood nun eh. Yung tab time, parang wala na kaming laban nun eh. Nung time ni...
First 2 years ni Coach Tab.
Ayaw yun eh.
First 2 years?
Yun yung para Embala.
Embala years. That was
Embala years.
Mahirap.
Ang kalaban pala namin nun was FEU ba yun?
No, kami
diba?
sa final both years. Kami yung sa finals both years.
Hindi, yung final four ang FEU. So yun, sabi ko, you were clutch player, a clutch player. In high school ganun ka rin or was it built over? Para yung pinapanood ko nga yung highlights mo, parang hindi kinakabahan eh. Parang...
Yun nga yung sinabi ni Jeremy. Yun yung tinatanong ko. Sabi ko, tanungin natin kay Isaac. Kinabahan ba siya ever? Parang wala kang kaba eh.
Yung mga shots mo, yung mga tres mo na parang... Yung isa pa yung nadapa ka tapos you just threw the ball up.
Yung nadapa, akala ko, matatraveling ako.
Kaya you just threw it.
So sabi ko, worst case, the worst, tuwa man ang ring.
Pwede
diba?
na.
Pwede na. And it went in. So...
But do you get nervous?
Siguro, of course, I think there's a little bit of nervous every time you play. We want to put your best foot forward. You always want to perform. But I think for those situations, parang I was focused on the job at hand, on the situation now. Wala nang kaba-kaba. And what's nice about Coach Tab is he puts us in situations na, he knows that you've worked on it. Now, he's not gonna all of a sudden tell you, Isaac, here's the ball, shoot a step back 3 crossovers to win us the game.
Yeah.
And he'll put us in situations that, okay, we've worked on this in practice. I know your skill level. I know where you're comfortable at. We'll put you in these situations to succeed.
Okay.
Para ma-shoot. Para you're comfortable. And the pick and pop naman, yan yung siguro kadakta practice. Pinaktis ko yun. Pick and pop.
So talagang praktisado talaga yung plays na yun. Talagang, as you said, Coach Tab wanted you to take those threes nga.
Yeah.
Except
except yung nahulog lang, di ko man pinapractice. Pero the threes, siguro, it was just matter of reps. And I know that I've put in the reps in practice. I've put in a significant amount of time. So, and you have to shoot with confidence. Parang,
wala nang isip-isip eh. Just shoot it, bahala na.
Yung Lasal shot, yung 3-pointer dun sa Lasal shot, which was a high looper.
Yung pa talaga yung biniring up mo.
Parang ano ba yun? Like, it was not a normal shot or tinaas mo talaga yung parang yung arc ng ball.
Actually, di ko siya naisip eh. When I caught the ball, shot, nakita ko si Kib nag-close out, tumalon. Parang I just shot it. Nung nabita ko, I didn't shoot, I shot normally. Parang nung nabita ko, sabi ko, ang taas.
Oo, ang taas.
Masyado ata mataas eh. But then, pumasok. So, siguro, you work on it. You work on it and you get to a point where, like, you just, tansya na. Sometimes you don't even know how you tansya it, how you did it, but it goes in.
Basta bato na lang eh, no? Minsan, basta, let's shoot our shot and then Pero what's your favorite moment when you were in Ateneo? Of all those clutch shots that you've made?
Siguro yung FU, because if it wasn't for the FU shot, I wouldn't have a chance. So we might have lost. honestly. So
Yung
that was
FP2
what
shot, that was the final four shot, right? Yung
Final four, down three,
three-pointer
down
din.
three kami. Yeah,
Oo.
down three, we lost game one, and I think it was just a redemption in a sense.
Yeah.
Because we were 13-1, I missed the shot na pang 14-0,
Ah,
and I felt that it was my fault. That's why I got the whole support of the Ateneo community. Everybody, my coaching staff, teammates, family, said na it wasn't your fault. You took a good shot, good read. It's just that a good decision. You just didn't make it. And
yeah.
I think that was my redemption for that after that. So that's why I think that was the
Favorite
favorite,
shot.
favorite.
So among
favorite.
the championship, yun pa rin, the first one was the sweetest talaga.
The first one was the sweetest. Next
Wait,
two, we had
ilang championships ba Ateneo win?
three.
Three.
Tatlo.
Okay.
So
Hindi-
si Isaac nakatatlo siya before he graduated, di ba? Pero I think yung last season parang formality. Di ba?
Di naman.
Pero mas madali, right?
I wouldn't say mas madali. They presented different challenges, and I think the players stepped up to those challenges. It's not in terms of a 14-0, people think, oh, you're supposed to get it. It's different. You have a target on your back. Every team is gonna put their best foot forward against you. They're gonna play their best.
Yeah.
So you have to give your best yun, because maybe your good is not enough to beat their best. Maybe it is. But you don't want that uncertainty. You put whatever best foot forward nila, put your best foot forward. So, and
once you're there at the top, diba, sabi nga nila, it's harder to stay on top, diba? Because everyone's targeting you, and you might feel that, eto na, we've been the best already, so what else to do, diba? Pero there's always that next step pa to becoming a better, even if you're the best or you've won the title.
Pero the last 2 years, Isaac was with Ange na, di ba?
With Ange. And I think another with your point, parang Coach Tab always thinks ahead, so he's not preparing you for the PBA. He's for the finals for UAP. His goal is not to get you to win the championship. His goal is to always produce players that are ready to play pro, whether they PBA, abroad.
Talaga?
That's his goal. His goal is to always develop players. Championships will come because of that. So his goal is not every year, we're going to win a championship. Our goal is we're going to produce the best possible players, and then we're going to make the best team, and then we're going to find the winning becomes a result of that.
So he never talked about like we will have to win the championship.
No.
Hindi yun yung
He brings it up because of course that's the yearly goal. The yearly goal is to win the championship. We have to win that's our goal. But we don't train to win games. We don't train to win championships. We train to become better players, become better individuals, professionals, so that whatever he's taught us and what we've prepared will get us ready for the next level.
Yeah.
So for some that might be Maharlika, for some that might be PBA, for some that might be Gilas or abroad. Or he's gonna get you ready for whatever your basketball journey will take you.
So in that light, yung si Ange, when Ange came in, syempre, same position, right? If medyo, syempre, angat naman si Ange. So did he like tell you that you'll be transitioning to the power forward, or ganun ba yung training sa'yo? Or center pa rin talaga?
System-based pa rin naman yata eh.
I think with Coach Tab, his goal is always to expand your game. So kahit kami bigs, pinapa-ball handling drills, pinapa-passing drills kami, pinapa-shooting drills, 3-point shooting. His goal is not, he's changing the idea that we need positions. Of course, you need sometimes point guard for the sake of people know what role they are playing. But in terms of skill development, in terms of where your career is gonna take you, he's trying to make you the most well-rounded possible. So, and I think year before, even before Ange came in, there were lineups na sinasabay na kami ni Iken, sinasabay na parang 2 big lineups. So, there pa lang, he was already seeing the possibility na, baka there might be times where 2 big lineup is better. Sometimes 1 big then will slide down 30 sa 4. So, adaptable. He makes us all adaptable, makes us all ready na whatever position he'll throw us in, ready kami.
When you were in the UAAP, was Ateneo was there any extra pressure when you were at Ateneo Lasal? Or wala? Kasi
Yes.
medyo bulok yata Lasal nun eh.
No. Ateneo
Hindi ba?
Lasal. Ateneo Lasal will always be Ateneo Lasal. I think the difference lang is wala na masyadong suntukan, away.
Oo nga.
Hindi kasing physical
Hindi
or
kasi
physical pa
physical.
rin pero walang personalan.
Hindi na, baka meron pa rin, but it's not as in blatantly obvious compared to the old days.
Yeah, yung old days talaga grabe.
Pero ano,
yung mga time
I
namin.
have a question with that. Was Xavier, di ba? Doon Xavier ba, like, majority of you na Ateneo na rin? Like, sister schools di ba? Jesuit schools. Ganun ba yung thinking sa Xavier? Or hindi?
Wala na bang may mga Lasal may mga
Hindi,
naman
yun
sa
nga
ibang schools?
Parang dati kasi more of Ateneo talaga di ba? Lately kasi nagkaroon ng Lasal.
In terms of studying, but studies are players.
Players and playing.
Playing? If you look at it, before me, si Kyle's UP,
Oo nga
Jeron Lasal,
Marami
Jet
na.
UP, Woody UP,
Tama.
Nag-start yan mga TY Tang days pa yata.
TY Lasal, Joseph
Oo.
Lasal, si Chris Ateneo.
I
Doon
think
medyo
si
nag-start.
TY ang nagsimula
Yan, yung mga
So, parang-
times nila.
Konti lang, fairly balanced naman. I think UP has the most, but fairly balanced naman players going where from Xavier.
Pero
Marami
in terms of
naman.
studies, maraming Ateneo rin talaga.
Mixed ata. Where I've mixed. It's fairly spread naman. I think it's fairly spread out in the all schools.
Now, let's talk about pros. Or, well, technically you haven't played a pro game, right? But you were already drafted. What was your, how did that decision to go Gilas na lang muna or before heading to the pros?
Anytime you have the chance to wear the Philippine jersey, you take it. Because you never know. Because, like, your pro career is going to be longer than your Gilas career.
Yeah.
So, there's not a lot of times where you'll get called up, you get a chance to play for the national team. And I've been lucky na I got to play under 16, under 18. And it's a different feeling wearing the national team jersey. It's a different feeling. So
may experience ka na nga pala before,
Yeah.
even before this,
Yeah. And I think a big consideration also was that in the previous, one of the concerns brought up was that what if we signed with Gilas, then let's say at any point Gilas dropped us for whatever reason. Maybe you're injured, maybe they say, okay, we have nothing planned for at the moment. Maybe, okay, we're getting players from the PBA, so you guys don't need. What if, paano yan? So that was the big concern. But they said, okay, we'll enter you to the draft so that you have a mother team at least. So at any point in time, whether you choose to quit, whether we drop you, whether for whatever reason, let's say there's a free time, you can go back to your mother team. We'll send you back to your mother team. So you don't have to wait another year for the draft, which was a big concern for a lot of us. What are you going to do? Let's say January let's say your contract expired January, then December pa yung draft. What are you going to do for 1 year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a concern they fixed so that it would entice players more na, okay, there's no problem with it. And there's no honor wearing the national team jersey talaga. That's
Pero
one
was
thing.
it a concern for you na, yun nga, madedelay yung PBA career mo? Like, nakikita mo sila yung other rookies na nag-play na. Like yung bubble, like hindi ka nakasali dun sa bubble. Was medyo may konting...
Well, yes, but at the same time, I got to go to my own bubble. I got to play national team, Indonesia and Bahrain. So I've had my chances also. So
Pero right now, do you train with your PBA team or
no?
full?
Because of ECQ, there's no training whatsoever. It's up to you. Individual work lang at the moment.
Yeah, pero yung individual work mo is being designed or programmed by the Gilas. Or may sariling trainers ka to help you out?
Sariling trainer. And I think, but there's constant communication between where Gilas wants the direction of Gilas, and I relay that to my trainers so that there's still a connect with it.
Okay. So,
Pero yung point ni Jeremy, like, with Terra Firma, I think Terra Firma was the one who picked you, right?
Yes.
Like, wala pa kayong, like, the coaches or something na you're attending practices nila, parang observation, ganyan, wala pa.
After the draft, I got to attend practice for a while, talk to them.
Okay.
But I think because after that, COVID, so...
Well, yeah, naabutan na ng...
Pero pwede naman. Ibig sabihin, you can go and visit them naman. And observe.
Yeah, we can go visit them naman.
Okay.
Okay. So how's how's the Gilas thing going? At least before they stopped it. How
It
many
was
weeks kayo doon? Or was it months na ba? Hindi,
two
wala pa
weeks,
yatang months eh.
ata. May 2-3 weeks na kami doon.
Oo.
It was great getting new faces in, a lot of the young guys into the
Si
program.
Kai was there, di ba?
No, Kai was in the previous bubble. Previous pa. So the one that was supposed to play Korea, he was there.
Dun sa practices. Kasi I've seen videos eh, pero hindi ko alam if it was a new one or an old one. So dun pa yon yung before.
Yeah, ba?
Okay,
So this
okay.
new one, I think he went back. He's back in the States now.
Mm-mm.
I think there's news he's training out with Amari Stoudemire and Lester Prosper. So it was great having the young guys come in, and a lot of them Ateneo rin eh. So may help speed up the familiarity. And comfortable naman kami. And all the new guys were great. Parang you've heard them, but then when you get to meet them, they're great basketball players and even better people.
Yeah.
So we enjoy everyone's.
Yung system is exactly the same with Ateneo system. Or may
For the most part it is, but Coach Tab Taylor makes it for depending on the opponent.
Okay.
It's not like you're preparing for a whole season where you're trying to run one thing. You're preparing for 2-3 games lang, so you can always change it up. But core elements are there. It's just that we have to put them together.
So at least right now, wala pang masyadong major adjustments on your part in terms of transitioning from college to Gilas, di ba? Wala pang ganun. And do you give yourself like a timeline on when you would rejoin the Terra Firma or their PBA team, or parang bahala na whatever happens in the future, kung ano na lang?
I'm focused now with Gilas at the moment and wait and see approach because of the pandemic, a lot of things changed, and who knows? Really, we're just focusing right now sa Gilas.
Yeah, saka exciting din eh kasi like it's been a while since we've had like a program like this sa national team natin, 'di ba? Usually whoever is just available sa PBA will just bring them there. Ngayon talagang parang there's a
saka like this year, I think we got into the qualifying of the Olympics.
Ayun, oo.
That's the surprise na we got in. Yung training nyo ba right now is also tailored to that na rin? I mean, with that in mind na? Or just for the Asia qualifiers?
I think it's both. There's some of it that's for the Asia Cup and there's some that's looking forward to.
Okay.
So it's a mix. It's really a mix.
Pero when we talk about the pros, is there someone sa PBA that you look forward to going up against?
Sayang eh. I was looking forward to go up against Rady Del Campo talaga, pero retired na eh.
Pero wasn't he a coach sa inyo, sa Gilas, di ba?
No, wala pa ata. I'm going to talk and text now. But I think in terms of PBA now, probably Junmar.
Junmar.
He's probably the best player in the league now. MVP. He's hurt, but he looks in good shape. So I'm excited to go up against him.
Okay. How do you think you'd fare with Junmar? Magkaiba kayo ng game eh.
I don't know na. I just wait and see na lang. Wait and see.
Kasi, di ba, you have different games, so I'm sure mahirapan din siya sa'yo kasi you'll be, you can shoot, you can, siya, malaki siya. Sana naman. Oo. So, well, good luck sa, Gilas and the PBA. We're definitely rooting for you guys, no? So, kasi syempre excited na rin kami. Sayang nga na naudlot eh. Kasi ako, right now, with the program, I'm very parang optimistic na there's something, merong mapupuntahan. Unlike before na just bring in the best players, bahala na. Pero, di ba, we all know that basketball is a team game and you need to practice. Like sabi mo nga, the practices are developing yourself para eventually you'll be able to win. Di ba? The reward is to win. Sige, let's talk a little bit about the NBA. Sabi mo, your Spurs is your favorite team. How do you like the Spurs now?
We gotta rebuild. We're still trying to find. I mean, they got good pieces, but LaMarcus Aldridge leaving and then now retiring hurts. We have some good pieces. I think Coach Pop has maybe 1-2 years left, maybe good 1-2 years left. But I mean, just wait for the future. I'm excited. They got good guards: Derek White, DeJounte Murray, Looney Walker.
So yun, I hard talaga. Isaac. I hard talaga. From the way you
yeah.
talk, parang talagang...
Yeah. The other Luka, they have the other Luka.
They're the wrong Luka. The wrong
So
Luka.
it'll be exciting how they pivot because they had David Robinson, they pivot to Duncan, and then they pivot to Kawhi, and then they've managed to turn Kawhi into DeMar DeRozan. So it's interesting how they're gonna. I'm interested to see how they're gonna flip it again. How they're gonna become contenders because they're still. I think they're in the playoff games now. Pasok
They're
sila sa
the
playoff.
play-in. I think
Parang
they're
ganun.
9th or 10th, parang ganun, or 8th.
Oo, bumaba eh. Bumaba.
They started really good and then medyo nawala ng konti.
So it'll be interesting how they. I want to see how they pivot going forward.
So
and
you
see how
do you feel like they should still try to win or make the playoffs? Kasi that's always the question eh. Parang
I think because I'm not sure if they have their first round picks, and I think the Spurs always the important thing is always the Spurs know how to draft.
yeah. They're
That's-
good
I
at
think that's-
maganda scouting nila eh.
Yeah, I think that's still more important than having a high pick is getting the right people. Because yung sayang lang they got they passed on Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh.
Oo nga.
So medyo hurt yan. That hurt a little bit. But
Pero
ganun ba sa-
okay lang kasi Tyrese naman parang I feel is not the alam mo yun yung star, more of a feeling ko parang role player type of player si Tyrese eh,
Yeah.
than just
Perfect
good
nga for
go-to.
the Spurs, di ba? Spurs.
Sabagay, Spurs system.
But I think the Spurs still need that one star player. Like even though team system you had Kawhi, they had Duncan,
Yeah.
then Ginobili or Parker would be the star, quote unquote star. So you still need a star player who will buy in the team system.
Pero in fairness naman to the Spurs, like Kawhi was not really a star player when he came in.
Yeah, then they
Just developed, diba? And other players like sina Tony Parker was not really a star. Well, he had medyo hype rin naman, but
second
wasn't
round.
really-
Late first round. Then
he was
Ginobili.
also developed,
Yeah.
diba?
Yeah, they developed.
They developed. Siguro of all those that you mentioned, si Tim Duncan lang talaga yung medyo may high expectations.
Number one overall pick.
Oo, 'di ba? So parang so you feel na do you feel that parang make the playoffs pa rin or tank na lang or
I think make the playoffs, Brian. I think
Play to win.
parang yung Spurs ngayon parang yung Toronto on the other side eh. They don't know what to do eh. Will they tank or
I think Toronto will tank more because there's Lowry's expiring. They blew it. Parang I think when Masai put that championship team together, that was with the idea that okay, I have a chance to. If I'm gonna try and repeat, I have the cap space to sign everybody back. Or if I want to rebuild, I can just blow everything up in 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think Toronto is in more of a position to rebuild rather than the Spurs.
Yeah. Hindi rin kasi yung Spurs kasi parang hindi sanay to rebuild. Ewan ko pero they've been there for so long eh.
They always make the playoffs so it's gonna be that's why I want to see how they pivot, how they find a way to become competitive once again without completely blowing it up like Toronto might completely blow it up.
What do you think about sige go Eric.
Isa ka sa Spurs fan, what do you think about the Lakers?
Bakit Lakers?
Hindi, kasi Lakers tayo. Alam ko na mga Spurs medyo galit sa Lakers.
I think the advantage of the Lakers is so that they're a big market team. Players will always want to come and sign and play in LA. So when they got LeBron, it's always easy to recruit another superstar. LA will always have that allure na big city. It's a city I want to live in. A lot of players have houses
Pero for
in
the
LA.
longest time hindi nangyari yun
I think what struggled was you had an aging Kobe. They made bad moves. A lot of their plays really didn't pan out.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Parang Kobe was aging. You signed Jamie Lin, Carlos Boozer. Parang, then for the years, you had Wesley Johnson. I mean, it didn't fit well together.
Yeah.
I understand, yes, you have Kobe. You can never trade Kobe. Aging star. But I didn't think Kobe at that time was demanding a lot of money, so that killed your cap space also.
Yep. Wala rin talagang cap space eh. So
Do
they,
you hate the Lakers? Just
No.
for ano?
No,
Okay.
I enjoy watching the Lakers actually now, especially that they have LeBron, they have AD, they're competitive, and when you have always a big city that's playing well, it drives also it drives the market. Like people get more excited about the NBA,
yeah.
True.
and it's always easy to root for the big team. So when a smaller market team beats them like the Spurs, it's much more satisfying.
Yeah.
Oo nga. Well, ngayon lang naman yung medyo maganda yung nilalaro ng Lakers eh. Pero for the past years.
Last 3 years ata.
Well, when LeBron came, and siguro a year after that, doon lang medyo. When AD came actually, Pero before that, it was really not good. Pero you have a favorite player? Is it from the Spurs then or hindi?
Duncan Dirk ako eh. Favorite players ko eh.
Now, yung with the players now, is there anyone that
wala
you
pa
like?
naman. I enjoy Luke. I think Luke, very bandwagon. I enjoy watching Luka play. Not the best fantasy guy, but I enjoy watching him play.
Yeah. So marami ring Luka fans dyan eh na
pick si Luka first pick.
What do you think about this year? Who do you think will come out of the East? Hindi naman na East. Brooklyn ba talaga? Sure bet or
I think Brooklyn, I still don't see how Philadelphia can keep up with Kyrie, Durant, and Harden, especially if all three are healthy.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think Simmons can guard one, but who's gonna guard the other two? Like that's for
Tobias.
me.
Si Tybul.
Di rin eh. Kinain si Tybul na yun. I mean, he's a defensive player and I like him. He's an okay,
Yeah.
but kinain nata siya last time sa bubble eh.
Oo.
And I don't. So that's for me is the concern. Because how can you beat? Simmons can guard one.
Pero with the big three not yet playing, what they've had parang wala pa yatang 10 games together eh. Do you think that's a concern?
It is, but imagine that you have worst comes to worst, you let one guy play and you put the other two as a stand. You're gonna put, let's say, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving spotting up. No one's gonna help. So, and they've got. I mean, Brooklyn's team is pretty good. They got Bruce Brown, Landry Shamet, Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot.
They have a good supporting cast.
They
have Blake.
They have a Blake Griffin, Nick Claxton. They have a pretty if you look out, they have a really solid team.
Yeah.
And when one of these guys have been out, the other guys always step up. Joe Harris. So they have a pretty good team, pretty deep team. And that's what's gonna happen in the playoffs na knowing that you have extra bullets, extra ammo to fire at these guys. It's gonna be difficult.
So you feel it's Brooklyn and Philly.
Brooklyn.
And then Brooklyn eventually.
Brooklyn eventually. West Lakers na yan. No, Lakers na yan.
Talaga?
Even with the injuries and all, you think kaya?
They're taking them easy. I think they're taking your time, let them rest.
Clippers, wala bang chance Clippers?
They're too Paul George has been pandemic fee. So
Uy, maganda nilalaro ni Paul George
hindi pa playoff eh.
But I think it's always easier to find a guy to stop Paul George and Kawhi rather than finding a guy to stop AD. Because who's gonna guard AD in the Clippers? Ibaka. Ibaka's okay, but
Si Zubac.
Zubac. Di ata kaya ni Zubac. And they added Andre Drummond. They have I think the supporting cast in terms of players is weaker Brooklyn versus LA, but Lakers have the experience. And as they always say, defense wins championships. So that might be the
actually yun yung surprising sa Lakers. Even when LeBron and AD went down, medyo decent sila on the defensive end pa rin.
Aren't the players are stepping up now? It's the time for Horton Tucker, Kuzma, Caruso to all get their confidence. Now Drummond is always going to be 20 and 10.
How about Utah? Do you think Fluke medyo fluke ang Utah in the regular season.
There are those teams that are really good in the regular season.
Yun, yung sinasabi ko, parang Toronto to na DeRozan time.
There are teams that are really good in the regular season, but then they might hit a wall in the playoffs. Because Gobert for many years would always be successful in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, they can't play Gobert matagal.
Yeah.
That's what I've been reading and hearing, that they can't play Gobert. And I think they have a good 6-man rotation. They're solid. 6-man. They have Conley, Mitchell, Bogdanovich, Ingles, Gobert, O'Neal. That's a really, really solid
Clarkson.
6. 7. Clarkson pala. 7. That's a really solid 7. But I don't iba pa yung LeBron eh. Parang LeBron Davis is still, I think, a little too much for Utah. But I mean, I've been a big Mike Conley fan for a long time. I think they're in the right direction, but they still lack something for them to get over the hump. But they have a good coach though, Quinn Snyder.
Yung Utah can probably win the West a lot of times. I mean, the West in the sense the regular season, they could win the best record a lot of times. Pero pagdating sa 7-game series, baka mas mahirapan sila with the other teams who have how can we say this? Parang experienced superstars.
But I think Utah, I wouldn't be surprised if Utah will definitely make the second round, but if they upset someone in the second round, that wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah, and hopefully that's yung Clippers or ano.
Ayaw mo ata sa Clippers
Hindi.
Galit.
Right. Basta anyone who boycotted the Lakers for the Clippers, ayaw namin yan. Mga Kawhi and Paul George, 'di ba? They
chose the Clippers.
They chose the Clippers eh. Sana hindi na sila manalo.
And so in Denver, wala na in Denver with Jamal Murray out for the year. That's too much.
Yeah, wala na.
I think that's too much. They'll win their first round, but second round out na sila sa second round.
So if you feel the Lakers are going to win it, who's the closest? Is it Utah na? Closest challenger? Or the Clippers pa rin, you feel?
Baka the Clippers, kahit pa paano, they still have Kawhi and Paul George who can slow down LeBron. I think that's the big deal. Slowing down LeBron.
Okay, so hindi talaga Clippers and Lakers. Actually, it's actually going to be fun kasi parang everyone nabitin lahat last year eh.
But I think the Clippers are third, right? Or no, they're not. Phoenix is second.
Your Phoenix, we haven't even talked about Phoenix.
Silip ko lang standings.
Utah and Phoenix. Tama ka, Utah and Phoenix. And then the Clippers.
Yeah.
Fourth pa rin ba Lakers? Fifth na yata sila.
Fourth Denver.
Ayun,
but
fifth.
That might change over a couple of days. Give it 2 weeks, baka mag-drop yung Denver.
Phoenix, we haven't even talked about Phoenix. So parang wala ba talaga?
Phoenix?
Too young. Feeling ko too young.
They have CP. I think
one of the best defensive teams, Phoenix.
I haven't watched enough Phoenix, I think, to give them a real comment. Because I had Devin Booker for fantasy, but for the longest time, he struggled at the start of the season. But, I mean, starting five is really good. Jay Crowder, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, and DeAndre Ayton. Then, 6-man is Frank Kaminsky.
Hindi naman. Cam Johnson. Frank Kaminsky nasa rotation pa ba? Wala na yata eh.
Wala na.
I think
Javon Carter, yung bench medyo suspect.
Suspect. But I think this is a good opportunity for Booker to prove that he's really, di ba always snub siya sa All-Star. And I think they'll be competitive, but Lakers pa rin. I don't think Phoenix can beat Los Angeles.
Yeah. Parang pa rin. Another good regular season team.
But happy for them. Happy for CP3 to have success, be in the MVP conversation a little bit.
Pero parang same old story for CP3 eh.
We wouldn't be saying this if he didn't get hurt and he beat Golden State. And they beat Golden State. We wouldn't be talking about this. He didn't hurt his cap.
Pero it happened, so wala na tayong magawa eh.
We wouldn't be talking about this kung hindi na-veto yung trade.
Yes, mag the veto rin.
Yun eh. Hanggang ngayon, ganun ako doon.
Dapat Lakers eh.
So you're saying CP3 is better than Prime Pau Gasol? At that point,
After Pau
20
Gasol nata yun eh.
that was
After-
2012. I think.
After na Pau.
After the championship na yun. After the championship.
So you still take CP3 over Pau?
Pau was not part of the deal. It was Lamar. I think.
Lamar Odom.
Pau
Oh
was
yeah. Okay.
That's
Then
that's the start of the Lamar Odom downfall.
Yes.
yeah.
Pau
But
was supposed to be staying pa rin. So it was gonna be Kobe, CP3, and then Pau.
oh yeah, we will be talking about this. We'll be talking about how
Yeah.
CP3 has at least one ring.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Baka
Saka,
3
if that happened, I think ang magiging comparison nun, CPT or the Nash deal.
Yeah, I think so. The Steve
Nash
Kasi-
was, I think that was a bad trick. That was a bad move. Steve Nash and Dwight Howard.
Kasi yun yung next na big three na binuo ng
big three
Lakers
na-
Nash, Dwight,
Kobe.
Pau, and Kobe.
That was
Isaac, you want to be a manager in the future more than a coach. Feel ko. No.
I don't know. Manager kasi maybe I'm not really in time. Manager kasi mahirap eh. Because we know all the party after the fact na tayo mag-decide eh. So it's still different to be in that role. Parang who knew that taking Sam Bowie over Jordan, but on paper daw Sam Bowie was really good. On paper daw, he was really good.
Yeah.
So,
Pero do you see yourself more as a manager or a coach?
I think I'll start out with the coach first.
Okay.
I think so. Manager kasi I think there's some things behind the scenes that I've yet to learn. Like, I remember I watched GM school and then I was like, di ko kaya ata to. I know that I think there's still a way far ahead. They're light years ahead of us, but there are certain things there that you think that you'll be able to know.
Yun yung kay Mo, di ba? Yung GM school.
GM school. Really interesting. People should watch it, but medyo nerdy siya at times. Medyo data heavy. So sometimes you're like...
Parang real life fantasy basketball yan eh.
Isa kasi parang yun nga eh, when he talks, parang nakita ko na he can see parang yung players and everything. Parang pang GM.
Speaking of GM, so I know out na yung fantasy team mo in the playoff running because he had misfortunes, lot of misfortunes, injuries.
Yes, injuries talaga.
AD, you mentioned AD, di ba?
AD, Embiid, Booker had a slow year at the start. LaMelo got hurt. Just a bad year. I've never been a good fantasy GM. The only time siguro I haven't won ever. The only time siguro nag-pseudo win ako was I drafted for one of my... Because we have a team category. I drafted for one of my teammates and siya yung nanalo.
Paano category? Like, you draft parang Utah, gano'n?
No, parang team category. So let's say, you draft individually, but then your win-loss is tallied at the end of the year. At the end of the regular. So natatali pa rin. So, that incentivizes people na kahit natatalo sila. Di ba after, let's say, 12 seed ka, tinatamad ka na. Yes. So, it still incentivizes you to play because even though you don't win the individual category, you can still win the team category.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Parang ito yata yung kapag 5-4 ka, it's counted as 1 lang ganyan. Regardless if it's 5-4 or 7-2. Yan ba yun?
No, so total pa rin. So 5-4 ka pa rin. But at the end of the season, we tally all the total
manual na yun.
So yung total, manual na yun. Minamanual nila. So the total wins.
So, kunwari, ang ata is like, kunwari, tayong dalawa, Jeremy, Eric, team tayo. So, whatever your standings, whatever my standing, i-add natin.
So, wins lang. Wins mo. So, just because number 1 ka, pero let's say, malaki, parang, let's say number 1 ka, pero number 2, konti lang yung gap. Parang it still gives a shot eh. May shot ka pa rin na kahit your team has the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Matatalo pa rin kayo.
Interesting.
What type of fantasy GM? Are you more of the ad drop type lang or trader? Kasi si Aaron, he likes to trade daw, sabi niya eh.
Di ako ma-ad drop. I usually think long term parate. So if I add this, unless naghahabol ako, if not, I always look when I pick up, will I have this guy for at least 1 week unless he gets hurt? Parang ganyan yung mindset ko parate. If I'm gonna keep this guy for 1 week or 2 weeks.
So yun ang
so swerte ko. So sa fantasy ko, swerte ako. I picked up Jarrett Allen. I picked up
sa draft yan, di ba?
No, nag-post draft na. I picked up Jarrett Allen. I picked up Rui
Jarrett
Hachimura.
Allen? Kasi naupo siya. when it
nag-up
started.
siya. I picked up Joe Ingles. So I still managed to pick up reasonable guys. So ganyan yung style ko. But I'm still torn in the fantasy style. This auction kami na do you get a lot of good mid-tier guys or you get 2-3 superstars? Then you just try to fill out your roster. Medyo torn pa rin ako doon. Based auction draft.
Eric, ang ano mo dyan? Take mo dyan? Kasi may auction din kami. Dynasty auction draft.
Mahirap Dynasty because tatago ka pa ng player eh.
Oo nga.
Mahirap eh. Pero hirap din ako sa auction eh.
Ako pag auction kasi I would rather really have a core star player. 1 or 2. Yun pa rin. That's always been my with Dynasty. Or with auction. I want at least Lillard, Jokic, Harden, may isa ako dun. I would have to get one. Yun yung, that's me. Ewan ko. Kung the others want it, parang yung balance.
Balance din. And I think the hard part is holding out your money. Because parang sa draft namin, Westbrook went for cheap. A lot of these guys towards the middle part of the auction was going for cheap. Because a lot of the guys spent money na on the big superstars eh. Tapos may ibang player na tinatago pa. So when Westbrook went up, mura lang. But I had no more money at that point because I spent all my money.
Pero do you draft do you have some favorite players to draft or wala? More on
wala akong must draft. Wala akong must draft because di naman nakatouched eh. Parang I know number 1 rule, do not draft Spurs players because they're not good in fantasy.
So you don't?
I don't draft Spurs players. Even Duncan, even DeRozan and Aldridge, they're not good. Well, maybe DeRozan, but he doesn't give you threes.
Yeah.
But may mga ganyan eh. I know Boston, don't draft
players from certain teams.
Players from certain teams, you don't add them because you don't draft them because they're not gonna get as much stats, even though if they're good.
Yeah.
That's my
pace ng team. Medyo
So wala kang bias kasi some managers, they have bias.
Yes.
Like they want to watch games of certain players kaya they'll draft these players para mapanood ko sila. Ganyan.
That's usually my rule ako. Don't draft more than 2 in a team. Actually, pwede 2, pero parang 1 pair lang.
Hindi pwedeng multiple.
Hindi po, mahirap multiple. Paminsan nagkakataon, lahat sila sabay-sabay laro or paminsan walang laro.
Nangyayari nga yan. And some marami ring managers na ganun. Parang ayaw nila nung masyadong maraming teammates within the team nila. Pero
go on, sorry, go on. Okay.
Yeah, but you draft, when you draft, anong strategy were you looking at rin? Like medyo maganda rin yung nagawa mo AD and Embiid. I think I feel na based on the team that you had, medyo solid rin if healthy lang talaga but medyo unfortunate lang
I think one strategy ko is that you draft you have to siguro usually first pick ko I want a big because when you look at the draft parang in the top 10 there's Towns, Embiid, Jokic.
Yeah.
But then it drastically falls off once you start going later in the draft. It falls off dramatically. So parang it's harder to find the big from the ad draft rather than it is to find the point guard. Like you can pick up Monte Morris, Campazzo. You can pick up a lot of point guards from the Yushima guards. It's easy to pick up point guards from the free agency pool. So usually I try to get one big. I think that's my usual.
Meron ka bang do not draft players? Like, not from team, pero pag narinig mo tong player na to, definitely, I don't wanna draft him. Kunyari, mga Blake Griffin, do not draft Blake.
Old Blake. No, but depends rin sa value. Because if I can get Blake, pag steal value, steal na, get him. Even though,
okay.
So, let's say sa auction, more na, let's say Blake Griffin, more na nun. Get him. You can take a waiver on Blake Griffin. I mean, not the worst thing in the world to take a waiver.
So wala ka talagang player bias whatsoever. Like,
wala.
Usually, I can get him for a cheap value, okay na.
Usually value ako. Usually doon ako sa value purpose. If let's say no one wants to touch Westbrook, but Westbrook 6th, 7th round, you'll get Westbrook.
Kevin Love. Pilay lang. We try to stay away from the injured play. Yung mga
injury. But kasi if you get injured yun. But if you can get an injured player 10th round who when he plays gives you value, why not, diba? Pwede na. It's always at what point and how much are you gonna spend for me.
Yeah. Yes.
Yan talaga sabi ko, Simmons, Simmons, out of $200, I think Simmons went for 30.
Mura
So
yun
parang mura na yun. I bought Embiid 70-something, 80-something, Embiid, Davis rin eh. So, Simmons at 30 was a steal. Westbrook was at 45 ata. Steal na yun.
Still pa ba yung 30 with Simmons? Simmons not playing well now eh.
Hindi,
But I mean, at the start ng season, parang he can give you points, rebounds,
Well,
assists.
sabagay, true.
Steals. Threes lang wala siya in free throw eh. But rest of, across the board, he'll give you stats eh.
Pero
Yeah,
yung
true.
$30 was very cheap. It was very cheap.
Very cheap na. $30 too. I think I had to get I got the Melo ata. 10 lang ata. Hindi wala nang pera nun eh. Wala na talagang... And usually stay away from rookies also. For the most part, stay away from rookies unless no choice.
LaMelo ba you drafted? Or...
Yeah. Wala nang pera nun eh. So medyo sabi ko, shoot ko na lang. Saan ko pwede i-shoot? Eh, nagkataon LaMelo fit the budget.
Pero sulit na yun ha, LaMelo.
Sulit na LaMelo Haliburton ko. I drafted Afdia also, but not so well this year. So dinap ko na rin eventually.
Si Haliburton drafted din. Okay, so medyo familiar ka with their game.
Parang the year before time. Also, I think I picked up Brandon Clark the year before.
Oh, rookie din.
Okay. So may mga sulit na rookies that you were able
sulit naman,
So yun guys, we've had so much kwentuhan here. Isaac, thank you very much again for your time. Hopefully medyo nag-enjoy ka naman sa conversation natin, and hopefully next year you'll get luckier sa fantasy basketball. para ano naman, para makalaro sa playoffs kasi pero you've naman, 'di ba, before you haven't won, but you made the top.
I made playoffs, top 8, but never made it far. Ate may malas ako. And may pati may malas. So, okay lang. Enjoy.
Okay lang. Ganun naman talaga eh. Like right now, marami ring managers na nagko-complain dahil na puro injuries, puro rest.
I think this year is hard to win fantasy because ang daming suspensions, daming IL. So,
kaya dami pang rest. The rest alone, di ba?
Not very tough year for fantasy players.
Even if you think na hindi magre-rest, yung mga sinasabi nga namin, durable players like sina Jamal Murray, they're really durable players. Wala. Out. And then sina Donovan Mitchell, di ba? Injured din. So, mahirap talaga.
Very, very, very tough year.
Yeah. Pero still, with fantasy, always fun. Fantasy basketball, always fun kahit na tough year. I'm sure marami pagkukwentuhan after the season. Alright, thanks Isaac for your time. Good luck with Gilas. Is there anything that you like to plug? Do people want to follow you or ano?
Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, IsaacGo1, and just enjoy fantasy. Don't get mad at your favorite players if they don't play well.
Huwag niyong personalin, baka mag-message kayo parang yung kay Miles Turner, may nag-message na fantasy managers. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. Alright, guys, we'll see you again next tomorrow for Daily Fantasy Quickie. But for now, have a good day. Bye, guys.